Hi YouTube, it's Jamie from Becoming Housewife, and I'm coming at you guys today with my February budget review. And if you watched my last video, you knew that I was pretty nervous for February. I had a baby on the 7th, and because of that, my husband, he took a week off of work, and he is salary? No, he's not salary. What's the one where he's hourly? Yes, he's hourly and not salary, so I was really nervous about what a week off of work would do, and I didn't really think about that before I had the baby. It just kind of snuck up on me as I was making the budget. I was like, what? We're gonna be short like $1,200. That's about what he makes in a week. And I was super nervous about that, especially because my husband and I hadn't saved the money for my epidural if I were to need one, and so we had everything saved for the birth of my son, like the hospital fees, everything like that, but we didn't have the epidural money saved, and so that was really nerve-wracking going into that. As I go over my budget though and the numbers, I will explain to you how that all worked out. We actually had a few miracles happen this month that made it so that we were able to pay everything off. And one of the miracles was that my husband's mom, she came and stayed with us, which on the day she stayed with us, my husband was offered extra hours at work. And so with her being able to help me after he went back to work, she came when my husband went back to work, and with her being at our house, my husband was able to pretty much put in like a 24-hour shift, and he just came like about $500 short from making what he normally makes in a month. So that was a huge miracle. And then we also had somebody in our life who made, sorry, my baby's crying. Should go help him. We'll help him. Come with me to help him. Here's my little baby. Hi, little baby. Did you lose a pacifier? Did you lose it? There you go. There you go, little baby. Okay, sorry about that. But as I was saying, we have... Oh, his pacifier fell out again. Anyway, we just have somebody in our life that was able to help us out, along with a few other side hustles. So I'm going to go take care of my baby, and then I will check in with you with my budget report. Okay, here are our numbers. So typically, my husband brings in $4,200 from ConsultNet. This month, he brought in $38,940.90, so almost $3,900, which, yeah, isn't so far off from his normal budget, which is awesome. Our supplemental income. So again, like I said, we have somebody in our lives who found out that we paid for our delivery with cash, and we didn't intend for this person to help us at all, but they were just a very kind person, and they decided to give us some money. I'm going to not disclose how much we were given, but we just got a little bit of help with our baby delivery, and so that was a huge blessing. So my husband being able to pick up extra hours, that was a huge blessing, getting a little bit of a gift. And then included in that amount on there too, I got a big Ebates check. I bought a very large purchase that got me a really good Ebates check in return. We also sold a few things on eBay, and I bought a money that I got back. And then we kept back $1,100 for our mortgage that comes out at the first of the month. So I've been keeping around $1,100 each month held back so that when the first of the month happens, we have that in there. Now, our emergency fund, This would be the last thing we were funding. We had anticipated to budget 0, but due to my husband being able to pick up some extra hours and due to just getting a little bit of financial support, we were able to put $840.69 into our emergency fund. That leaves our balance now over $1,700. We're working to have $30,000 in our emergency fund. My husband is anticipating a job loss sometime between August and November, so we want to make sure that we have a good emergency balance, just depending on how long it will take us to find new work and such things like that. Okay, here are regular costs. Tithes and offerings, because we made less, we pay 10% tithes, so we're a little bit lower on our tithes and offerings. Mortgage was the same. Car insurance has gone up $10, and we're trying to figure out why. We need to call on that. Health insurance stayed the same. Cell phones went up. I put it in yellow because my husband actually called, and we found out that a discount that we should be receiving through work is not being applied, and so they went ahead and applied that, and our bill is lower now for the next month. Our cable and internet, this isn't green because it's gone up for this $133.95. It was like $150 last month, and I was super irritated because I'm not even sure if I want cable and internet. So my husband called them, told them that we totally were fine to cancel. So unless we lowered our cost, we were ready to cancel. And they lowered our cost, put us back on our normal plan, which is still pretty high, but they also gave us a discount for the overages that we've been paying for a plan that we didn't want. So that was down, that's why that's in green. Dominion Energy, I really don't know how to figure out how much we need to save a month on energy. This was our bill in November, and November was warm here in Utah for us, so I don't think we used a ton of energy then. We're at $156.49. Yeah, that's just, it is what it is, and I'll have to make sure that I keep all these numbers saved for next year so that when I do my next year's budgets on these months, I can put in these numbers so that I'm more accurate. Our water and electric went up like $1. I'm not super worried about that. Our groceries went up $70.09, but that's okay because we did not go out at all. Like, we just didn't go out to restaurants. We didn't go on dates. We had more groceries because I have 2 babies at home. I have a 1-year-old and I have a 1-month-old. So, yeah, we just aren't going out. Our prescriptions and medicines were up because my son got sick. My 1-year-old got sick, and we had to go get him some medicine. He had a cold, and then that turned into a temperature, so we actually had to take my baby over to my family's house because the doctor said if the baby got a temperature at all, he would have to go to the hospital because his lungs aren't quite developed. Gas went over. I don't know why I didn't put in red, but it did go over $7.75, so we might need to increase our gas budget. Murphy moved in, so I added this to our regular cost. We budget 0 for Murphy, but as Dave Ramsey sometimes talks about, he just says that sometimes things happen. Murphy moves into your house, and that would also be associated to my son being sick. Because of that, my sister drove quite a ways to come get my newborn and pick him up so that she could take him home. And I was really happy that she could do that for us. She was a nurse, and she was so capable to take his temperature, he actually had his circumcision that day that we found out that my son was sick, and she was able to take care of that really well, and I just was super grateful for her awesome nursing skills, and she's just a really good sister in general. So I paid her gas money for that, and so that was our Murphy moved in moment for this month. Okay, going on to the baby delivery. So, initially I figured that we would have $648.06 left over if we didn't fund any of our emergency funds with our normal balance. So that was the first thing that was going to happen until we got supplemental income. But because we were able to get some financial help, we were able to put $1,304 into the baby delivery fund, bringing our balance to $0. Our goal was $3,000. Actually, our goal was $4,250 initially, because I did get an epidural for 2 hours, which cost $1,250. Now, I called in to the hospital when I was paying my bill, and I just told them that I was self-pay, and I wondered if there was a discount for the epidural, and they dropped my epidural price to $945. So that saved us well over $300 just by calling and asking if they had a discount. So the reason why it shows a $0 balance on that line is because I called the hospital and I paid $3,945. So I paid for that epidural, paid the rest of our hospital fees. And I have a crying baby, so I'm gonna come back in a sec. Okay guys, the mom life struggle is real, and I got this little guy who's gonna be in the background helping us up. Hi Edwin! Hey you! Hi! I'm gonna be in the background. So if you hear him, that is what that noise is in the background. Okay, so jumping back in. Home repairs, house needs. We put $100 in. We spent about $77 on probably bathroom stuff that we needed. I'm not quite sure, but with the bathroom renovation, I'm sure we spent money there somewhere. Anniversary, this is the first month we've contributed towards the sinking fund. Our anniversary's in January, so we spent some money last month and went on a vacation, but this is the first time, not a vacation, we went to dinner. But this is the first time that we started saving for a vacation or getaway of some sort, and so we plan to do $100 a month. Family vacation, so we've been now doing this for 2 months where we've been saving $100, so we have $200 set aside. Our goal is $1,000. Our car repairs and maintenance, we put in $125. I did have to get my registration updated. We have a goal of having $10,000 in this fund because I'm sure at one point our cars will die and we just want to pay for cash for our next vehicle, and so I want to have it there. Christmas, we added another $100 and we have $175.02. Yard care, we have $200. I like having this fund a little bit high because I do have a pool business and I have parents that sit in my backyard, and I like having a little bit of money for yard care so that the area, while they're waiting for their kids to do swimming lessons, is nice. Birthdays and holidays, we put in $75. Spent about $5 somewhere on birthdays and holidays. Electronics, we have the sinking fund because I'm sure at some point either a computer or a phone or something is going to bust, and it's nice having little money that we have set aside. In December we bought some batteries. In January we bought some batteries, and then we haven't purchased anything this month, so it's just growing. Clothing, my 1-year-old that you just saw, he is wearing 18 months clothes, and he grew out of his 12-month clothes, and so I spent all of the money in that fund to get him clothes. Food storage, I bought a ton of shampoo and conditioner, enough hopefully that can last us a year. That'll be really nice when we don't have to make those purchases later on when my husband does have his anticipated job loss. So that'll be good. Even though it's not a food product per se, it is something that is nice to have in bulk so that when we are without a job, we don't have to make those purchases for those things. Pet care, we spent about $13. this fund is so high for our dog right now because I think he's due for shots or something like that at the vet. Our leisure funds, we did not put a ton of, or we did not have a lot of spending. Eating out, we did about $50 worth of eating out. I'm sure a lot of that was just my husband coming home from work and me not having dinner with the newborn and him just picking up something on the way home. Ed's Mad Money, my husband's Mad Money, he didn't spend any of his. He still has account balance of $78.35. My Mad Money, we beefed it up. I put an additional $180 on top of my $50 in this month because on my last pregnancy, my body was really, really tense after I had my baby, and I just felt like it was really tight and something was wrong. And a week later, after I've been just feeling like things were wrong with my body, I got hives, and they were bad enough that we had an EpiPen, and my husband almost had to use it one day because my throat closed up and I couldn't breathe. And luckily the Benadryl that I had taken just a little bit before that, because I could feel that I was starting to having breathing struggles, kicked in. But I felt like a lot of it had to do with the stress on my body, and that I needed something to help my body relieve the stress of a pregnancy. And so I actually invested this time around $180 into 4 massages from Massage Envy to loosen up my body, to kind of give my body a break from everything that I had just gone through. And my body feels way different this time. I was hurting a lot, but now after the massages, I feel like I was able to release some of that pain. And I know that hives can be caused from stress, so I don't know if just having that release in my body was helpful, but I felt like it was, so it's something I invested in because I think having an allergic reaction, especially when I'm home now with my boys all the time, would be really scary if I couldn't breathe and I had to try to give myself my own EpiPen having an allergic reaction. But that's why we invested so much into that, and I do feel like it has made a difference. Call me crazy, but I feel like that's what I needed on the first pregnancy, and I feel like I do feel better on this one after having that. And then date nights, we put in $75 a month. We only spent $25, and that was on the very last day of the month, because, it was like a Saturday night, and we don't do shopping on Sunday, or I don't remember, but it was like the last day of the budget, and I didn't have dinner made, and the boys were asleep already, and so my husband, we went out and splurged, and one of us got sandwiches and from this bakery in Utah called Neater's. It's pretty yummy, and we got some desserts with that, and we brought those home, and we had a date night in, and my husband talked me into playing some video games with him, and we just had a really quiet evening, and that was pretty nice. So we went on a date night on the very last day of the month, and it was a stay-in date, but it was pretty fun. So for our total monthly spend in each of these areas, we had budgeted about $4,234, or that's what we had budgeted with their spend, leaving $1,100, which is what we leave each month for the mortgage to come out and our first of the month bills. We ended up spending $6,148 due to putting money into our emergency fund and into our baby delivery fund, as well as that extra $180 for the massages. We wouldn't have done the massages had we not received that supplemental income. And this month, because March 1st is a Thursday, my husband gets paid every Friday. I only felt like I needed to keep back $1,000 instead of $1,100 because we would be getting paid the very next day. So we only anticipated like $900 coming out of the account on Thursday. And it's like $100, that's enough, safe enough buffer to hold us over for until we got a paycheck on Friday. So that's why we only kept $1,000 over this month. And then our sinking funds have a total of $1,103.53 in them, not including, I don't include our emergency fund with this. So our emergency fund is its own separate thing, but our sinking funds, like for all of this sort of thing, this falls into this category. Our current balance on our emergency fund, even though we've seen that, we have $17,000. Our goal is to have $30,000. If we don't need that $30,000, the full $30,000, 20 months would get us over 6 months of expenditures and within the Dave Ramsey plan. But we're just doing a little extra in case my husband doesn't get that job, but a job after his job ends. And so we're just beefing that up, and then if we do get a job right after his job ends, then we will put whatever is excessive over $20,000 in our emergency fund, and we'll put it all to the mortgage, and that will be an exciting day if that happens. If not, we will have that money there and for the amount of time that it takes us to find our next job. So that is where our budget is as of February 2018, and I hope y'all have a good day. Signing out.